Okay, go.
Go? I don't do that. I say that. I don't know what you do after go. He just got signed this lovely copy of UnWholy, his newest book. It's the second in the Unwind trilogy, and it's just as creepy and awesome as the first one. We have a clip of him reading aloud, which was lovely.
I'm going to read a little bit about Cam and his journey of self-discovery. Bit by bit and day by day, as more things fall into place in Cam's mind, he begins to realize his terrifying uniqueness. Eventually, your body will learn the alliances it has to make with itself, Kenny had said, as if Cam was a factory full of strike-prone workers, or worse, a clutch of slaves forced into unwanted labor. He reaches toward his face, which he has been told not to touch. That's when Roberta comes in. She knows he's been taking stock of his body, having spied on him through the camera lurking in the corner of the room. She is accompanied by 2 guards, and they can already tell that Cam's emotions are starting to surge. "What's wrong, Cam?" asked Roberta. "Tell me. Find the words." He closes his eyes, forcing the thought to take shape, but the only form that comes is the ridiculous shape of walrus. His thoughts are useless, pointless. He despises himself. But then Roberta says, "And the carpenter?" He snaps his eyes to her. "Yes, yes. Somehow, as random as those 2 things are, they make perfect sense together." "The walrus and the carpenter," says Roberta, an absurd poem that makes even less sense than you. He waits for her to connect at least some of the dots for him. It was written by Lewis Carroll, who also wrote Alice. Yes, he wrote Alice in Wonderland and Through the Looking Glass. Cam points to the bathroom. Through the Looking Glass. Mirror, he shouts triumphantly. I want to look in a mirror. I want to look now. Show me. It is the clearest statement and the highest level of communication he has yet to achieve. Surely Roberta will reward that. Show me now. Ahora. Maintenant. Ima. The guards look to Roberta, ready to leap in to restrain him, but Roberta does not give the order. She hesitates, considers. Then she finally says, "Come with me." Roberta leads him to a full-length mirror against the wall. He can see himself now head to toe. He sheds the hospital gown and stands there in his shorts, looking at himself. The shape of his body is beautiful. He is perfectly proportioned, muscular, and trim. But as he steps closer and more into the light, he can see the scars. He knew they were there. To see them all at once is overwhelming. They are ugly, and they're everywhere. But nowhere are they more pronounced than on his face. Why? Is all he can think to say. He turns from his reflection, trying to disappear into his own shoulder, but Roberta gently touches that shoulder. "Don't look away," she says. "Have the strength to see what I see." He forces himself to look again, but all he can see are the scars. "Monster," he says. That word comes from so many different bits of memory, he needs no help finding it. "Frankenstein." "No," Roberta says sharply. "Never think that. That monster was made from dead flesh, but you are made of the living. That creature was a violation of all things natural, but you, Cam, you were a new world wonder." Now she looks into the mirror with him, pointing out his many miraculous parts. "Your legs belong to a varsity runner," she tells him, "and your heart to a boy who could have been an Olympic swimmer had he not been unwound. Your arms and shoulders once belonged to the best baseball player any harvest camp had ever seen, and your hands, they played guitar with rare and glorious talent." She moves her finger around the multi-textured fuzz of his hair, pointing out different spots in his cranium like travel destinations on a globe. "Your left frontal lobe holds the analytical and computational skills of 7 kids who tested at the genius level in math and science. Your right frontal lobe combines the creative cores of almost a dozen poets, artists, and musicians. Your occipital lobe holds neuron bundles from countless unwinds with photographic memories, and your language center is an international hub of 9 languages, all waiting to be reawakened." She touches his chin, turning him to face her. Her eyes, which seemed so far away in the mirror, are now only inches from his. "You are not random, Cat. You were intelligently designed. Every part of you was hand-picked from the best and the brightest, Roberta tells him. And I was there at each unwinding so you would see me, hear me, and know me once all the parts were united. She takes a moment to think about it and sadly shakes her head. Those poor kids were too dysfunctional to know how to use the gifts they were given. But now, even divided, it can finally be complete through you. Thank you.
And we got The Schwa Was Here, signed for me. I'm getting signed The Schwa Was Here. It's my favorite. Here, if you are a Neal Shusterman fan. And if you're not a Neal Shusterman fan, go read The Schwa Was Here.
I had no idea he was in town.
And for you, we have this lovely UnWholy poster. UnWholy is his new book, and it's the second in the Unwind trilogy, which is really awesome, and it's his best-selling, and it's creepy. Look at it. But signed on the face of this creepy guy staring you down is Neal Shusterman. So follow online and on Pinterest to be double entered in the drawing.